Hi, Leo. So, what's going on? You are the second to last reading that I'm doing, but they're all getting uploaded at once, so it doesn't matter. But in case you wanted to know where you were in the lineup, I suspect that people want to know anyway, even though they're going up at once. So, we're changing the format a little bit, slightly. Everything that we're normally doing, we're doing all of that. And on top of that, what I've realized is that a lot of people have reached out and said that they don't watch other channels. And I'm thinking that you guys should know when your eclipses are and stuff like that. That's important. Like, because there's going to be days where you're just feeling a certain way. And there is that part of you that's going to be like, I don't think this is just me. I don't think, there's something else going on here. And you would be right. So you should know what those days are, and if you're watching other people and you're getting a much more extensive like astrological workup, I'm not going to make it too much of anything. It's just going to seamlessly kind of mesh with this, but you should know that I'm just going to be mentioning. And even if we don't do it every month, it totally depends on you guys and what you want. Even if we don't do it every month, we should do it this month because we've got a lot of stuff going on. So let's get into it. On the 4th, you've got Mars, Venus, and Uranus in Aries. So for you, that translates as your 9th house. Sorry, let me turn my ringer off. And what we're dealing with here is this whole month for you is about your relationship centered this month, but I don't want you to think that that's just between like you and a person. This is about all your relationships. Most importantly, perhaps more than any other one, because I was going to say also work, but most importantly, your relationship with you. It's really, really important that your focus, let's say, this month be on how to optimize your relationships, but also how to ease into them. Leo's good at getting into the situation, but then the quickness in you, the fire in you wants to push when it's too early. But right now you're coming into a period where you're going to be very introspective about your relationships and also about your role in them. How are you? I think you'll be able to like see yourself a little bit from the outside. See yourself from a much broader perspective. You're also in a process of learning a lot more about yourself, I feel like, in general, and you guys are always trying to be better. You're always trying to, perfect. I don't think Leos get enough credit for that. You guys are always like working on your look, if you will. And it goes, and I don't mean just physically your look as I fix like one strand. I don't mean just your physical look. I mean like your whole write-up. Like how you look on paper, how you look physically, what you're doing for the community, what's your soul look like the whole thing. You guys want to be and feel like you really are like the total package, right? And so this month, you get to see from the outside what that looks like. So if any of you have been super insecure, which, it can happen after a breakup or, something. Leos can, yeah, sure, for a little while you can get down. But if it's something like that, okay, they don't come out and then they all fly out. Great. Then, you are in every way supported. That's your celestial body, right? So, okay, now it's like every time I touch the cards, one pops out. So, I'm glad this came out because towards the end of the month, you have Mars and Uranus together and you really need to be careful because you're going to want to fight. And that doesn't make sense because things are going well, right? So let's talk about what else is going on and then we'll get to that. So, and then I'll also show you these cards in a second. We've got 4 cards so far. 6 of Swords. The Empress. The Empress has come up in a few of the readings, often in reverse. The Star, another major arcana. The Sun, as I showed you. And the Five of Wands. So you're already getting like a general sense of what's going on. Now, on the 8th, Mercury and the Sun in your 7th. Like I said, the Sun, the Star, the Empress, things are going well. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Let me turn that off. Okay. So things are going well for you. You know, the Sun and the Star together and the Empress. It's good luck, money, opportunity to expand, right? And then this same sort of luck applies to your relationships. You know, both ruled by the same planet, right? So, love and money coming in, and just being very relationship centered. You know, the 7th house is Mercury and the Sun in the 7th house. Yeah, relationship centered. It's about your relationship with you, your relationship with other people. Just, that's what you want. That's what you want to be around. That's what you want to do. And then on the 11th, the lunar eclipse is in your 1st house. The lunar eclipse is in Leo. And this is going to last like a good 6 months from you from the 11th. And it's going to be a process really of, the way I have it written out is, take a good look and clean it out. If it's not easy and fun, it's not for you. Long term, it's not going to work out. Okay? So the lunar eclipse, that 6-month period, it's going to work on you, what I just said. If it's not easy and fun, it needs to see its way out of your life. Yes, you want this, of course. Everybody wants like stability and a partner and all that, but not at the expense of being in some stodgy, you know, pretend relationship where you have to pretend to be happy because then everyone's comfortable that you're in a relationship or whatever. Like, if it's like that, within the next 6 months, it'll be a thing of the past. You won't be able to sustain that show. Okay, so then we move forward. What you're realizing here, in a big way, let's look at these cards, is that you are a lover, not a fighter. Sure, you have all the equipment needed to fight, but that's not what you want. You're all heart. You don't want to fight. We've talked about this, right? Just because you have the equipment to fight doesn't predispose you to fighting. And I'm going to use kind of a weird example. And I think she might actually be a Leo, which would be cool, but if she's not, forgive me. But Jennifer Lopez has been known to say that people think that because of the way her body is built, that means that she's promiscuous and she, like, you know, loves men and runs around with lots of men. And she's like, no, I'm just curvy. Like, that has nothing to do with my morality and who I am as a person and my sexual habits, right? So I feel in the same way, a Leo can be perceived as being combative just because you have the tools for combat. You know, you have the tools for it, but you're not a fighter, you're a lover, right? So let's take a look at this and see how it plays out over February, because that's when you're going to have this huge realization that I just said. And it makes sense then that after you have that realization, that you have things like the Star card here, okay? Because once you have that realization, things really open up for you. And then on the 19th, the Sun comes into your 8th house, and on the 26th, Mercury, and then a solar eclipse in the 8th house. So, again, boom, boom, boom. Just all kinds of like good stuff. You know, steady, good, loving vibes, good money situation, good work situation, new deals maybe, new relationship maybe, something gets serious. You know, might find out that you're pregnant. really like stepping up. Stepping up. You're feeling it. You're feeling the momentum going from the page to the knight. We got it. Just keep building that momentum. You're on it from last month. We're doing it. Things are looking good. Most of you have met somebody that you like, starting to trust. Feels like it's a good thing, right? Bottom of the deck. Could very easily be a water sign, but I really feel like it's a fire sign. All right, and what to be careful of? This I'm a lover, not a fighter thing that you're getting used to about yourself and getting to know better. This is part of a more like healing process. And that's why I'm talking about like ending up pregnant. This healing process has a lot to do with your sexuality. Okay, so I can see how those two things would be related at this time. And it's going to be Valentine's Day, right? So the only thing I would say is just, this, remember, is a card of rushing. Things look good. Just keep it together. Don't rush. Don't jump to the end. Don't jump to the end and then fight with the person because now you've jumped at the end and assumed all kinds of stuff that the person didn't even do yet, but now you're mad. You see? This here, we haven't talked about so much. This Six of Swords, this happens earlier in the month and really kind of the end of January, I would say. You're just leaving, with this Lunar New Year is the day I'm recording this. With the Lunar New Year, you're really just leaving behind a lot of stuff. A lot of things that didn't work out, relationships that didn't work out, situations that you thought would end up being more, work situations. You're just like, whatever didn't work out, I'm leaving it. And moving forward, you just have all this positivity and all this confidence, and it's really paying off and building on itself. And sure, you are being kind of pressured by yourself and others into getting into some sort of relationship, but nonetheless, it seems like a good, stable thing. You just have to not rush it. You have a tendency to pick up speed. For me, this looks like picking up speed and more fire. And you need to be easy because this is not a fiery thing yet. Okay, this is more of a stable thing. And when you don't get what you want, like I said, there is a tendency to, cause conflict. So it would behoove you not to do that right now because this thing is going to move at its own pace. Like I'm always telling you guys and Aries, this thing is going to move at its own pace. You cannot make it move faster and you don't want to. Okay? You don't want to. In the I Ching, it says that the things that are given time to knit slowly, knit properly. Right? So just remember that how you start is how you finish. You got to be a bit steady and slow at the beginning here because I'm not saying be paranoid. I'm not saying be closed off. I'm just like, don't be all extreme like Leo like that. Just be careful. And those of you that are in relationships, or just watching, wondering what's going on, with your life, there is some source of conflict in your relationship. Absolutely there is. And you're feeling more and more bold and able to say it, where before you weren't thinking that was possible. And there is a chance that there's this looming pregnancy, or that, you don't really want that. And this person really does want it. There's some kind of conflict of interest here going on that I feel is making you want to leave the entire thing behind in many ways. You feel like the world would be so much more open to you. But on the other hand, I also feel like some of this is you guys conflicting within yourself of what stage you're at. Do you want to be young and having fun? Or do you want to, have kids and have a little bit more of an adult life? And because so much is open and so much you can feel instinctively how luck and life and the world is supporting you right now, you're like, what should I choose? You can sense that you can kind of choose what you want. And that can also be a special kind of pressure. What do you put your paw down on? What do you choose? Right? So I would say just like always slow down, but also, end of the month, Mars and Uranus, that's, You know, that's this. That's why this is the last card in the reading. Mars and Uranus together, that's just rushing. That's just somebody like jumping at the end. Don't do it. You just can't be sure yet. And I'm not saying it's going to go wrong. I'm pretty sure it's going to go right. It's not that. It's just, even if it's like you're in the relationship and you're wanting to leave because it's conflict, it doesn't matter. Either way, wherever you on that spectrum of that like Leo relationship spectrum of what's going on in February, just calm it down. Wait. Something's going to test you at the end of the month and you're going to be like, ooh, let me go watch that video because you are asking for it. Don't take the bait. You and Scorpio are getting baited this month. So if you happen to be a Leo who's dating a Scorpio or an Aries for that matter, end of the month, it'd probably be better if you were like didn't see each other for a week or something. Just be like, why don't we see each other on next Friday and go to the movies or something? You know, just like take the week off from each other because you're gonna probably rip each other's heads off. So yeah, so that's what's going on in February. I'll leave my information below, my email address. Sorry, sometimes I forget. And you can get in contact with me if you just want to like talk to me or if you want a private reading, a personal reading. A lot of what I've started doing is also that people will want a personal reading and then they'll realize that what they're actually looking for is more of like it's more of like a coaching thing. Like they've got like a self-confidence thing going on or relationship like trauma, or you know, they have like an anxiety thing where they panic and so they need someone that they can just kind of like call and be like, oh, I'm panicking, you know, that kind of thing. So I've realized that it's not, I shouldn't just classify it as readings because it is more than that. And then there's so many people who later when they find out, they're like, wait, you know, my friend told me that she got this kind of reading. I didn't even know that was a possibility. So yeah, all that stuff is a possibility. It really, I'm sorry, I'm just hot. The sun is setting. It's so beautiful. So yeah, so all that stuff is a possibility. I have not up until now been disclosing that in the email that you get when you inquire for more information, but I'm going to revamp that and put all that in there. So yeah, that's about it. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm not a particularly big fan of that. I'm incredibly spoiled that way. I feel like every day should be Valentine's Day. Oh my god, it's so spoiled. So yeah, so have a happy Valentine's Day and happy February, and I will see you guys in March. I love you, Leo.